Most English learners only know the basic meaning of these verbs. In this video, you'll learn the advanced ones, the ones that will help you understand native speakers more easily and sound more fluent in English yourself. Let's get started. Number 1, buy. Now, you already know that to buy means to get something in exchange for money, or to purchase, to use a more formal verb. I bought a new watch last week. But it also means to believe or accept that something is true, and this is an informal use of the verb. He said the dog ate his homework, but I don't buy it. In other words, I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. The government keep promising change, but the public aren't buying it anymore. The public don't believe it. And I just want to point out something important with this verb. So let's take a closer look at this example. We can see here that we're using the present continuous tense. The public aren't buying it anymore. Does that mean that we can also say the public aren't believing it anymore? No. Why not? Because believe is a stative verb, and we don't usually use stative verbs in the continuous tenses. So although buy is being used in the same way here, it actually behaves differently, and it can and often is used in the continuous tense. I'm not buying it. They're not buying it. But if we use believe, we have to use the simple tense. The public don't believe it anymore. Number 2, fall. So you probably already know that to fall is to suddenly, usually unintentionally, go down towards the ground. I fell down the stairs in my new shoes, landing in my dinner. This is a true story. When I was a teenager, my friend and I had been shopping and we'd bought these outrageously high platform shoes. Ridiculous. I couldn't walk in them. The heel was too high for me. And we were going to the cinema that evening. And my mum had called me to say that dinner was ready. And she'd put my dinner, my plate of food, at the bottom of the stairs. So as I went to go and get it, I tripped in my ridiculous shoes that I couldn't walk in, fell down the stairs and landed in my dinner, which was a plate of, I think it was scrambled eggs on toast. So there I was in my ridiculous miniskirt with my ridiculous shoes covered in scrambled egg. We were going to the cinema to see Broken Arrow, a Christian Slater film, because I was in love with him back in the day. Let's look at our second meaning. I've actually got 3 for you with this verb. So number 2, to become smaller in number or amount. House prices have fallen. So house prices have gone down. They have got smaller. I believe this is true at the moment. And number 3, to change from one state to another. Everyone fell silent when they heard the news. Now, when we use fall in this way, it is followed by an adjective. In this case, silent. Everybody fell silent. Now, we're going to look at some more examples. So here we are, changing from one state to another. We had to cut the trip short because the kids fell ill, or the kids fell sick. So again, we've got fall followed by an adjective, ill or sick. Some more common collocations. They stopped trying, and that's when she fell pregnant. So she became pregnant. This often happens, doesn't it, when a couple maybe are trying to have a baby and nothing's happening, and then they stop trying and suddenly she falls pregnant. We all fell asleep during the final episode. So here we go, to change from being awake to being asleep, to fall asleep. The climber fell unconscious from the cold. Another common collocation, to fall unconscious. And finally, the book fell open to the right page. So imagine you've thrown your book on the desk and boom, it falls open to the correct page. Number 3, strike. You may already know that strike means to hit somebody or something forcefully or violently. He struck the ball with the bat. But it also means to stop working in order to demand better pay, conditions, or job security. Spanish baggage handlers are striking at the moment. This is true. At the time of recording, a baggage handler or baggage handlers are the people who deal with your suitcases and bags at the airport. So they are the people responsible for getting your bags on and off the aeroplane. There's a company that is striking at the moment until Christmas, I believe, because they're not happy with their current working conditions. And strike in this context is also a noun. It's very common to say that someone or a group of people are on strike. They are on strike. The baggage handlers are on strike. Now, strike has a third meaning, and that is to affect a person or place very badly when something unexpected and negative happens. It's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina struck the city of New Orleans, causing over 1,000 fatalities. And fatalities, this is a more formal way of saying deaths. So, yeah, this is true. It was 20 years ago. In fact, I was watching a documentary about this last night on Netflix. Absolutely dreadful. Dreadful, dreadful. It's a good documentary. I recommend it if you have Netflix. After an extended period without rain, the region was struck by drought. And drought is basically when there is no water, the absence of water, complete lack of water. So you can see from these examples that we use strike with something that's really very serious. So things like natural disasters, the earthquake struck, or with a devastating illness like COVID struck. Number 4, tap. To hit somebody or something gently and often repeatedly. He tapped his foot in time to the music. But tap also means to access or use an available resource, supply, or source of information, energy, or skill. She tapped her network of contacts to find a job. The government hopes to tap renewable energy sources such as solar and wind. Now, this one, I think, relates to the literal meaning because this is a tap. And if you turn on the tap, out comes the water. So if you tap something, then you release something, a resource, for example, water, that is already there, it's already available, but you just turn it on or gain access to it. So she already had the network of contacts, but when she tapped them, she started to use them. The renewable energy sources already exist, they're there. So if you tap them, then you access or use them. Number 5, run. To move quickly on foot. He runs 5 kilometers every morning. I definitely don't do that. To manage or be in control of something, typically a business. She runs a successful bakery in town. So she's the boss, the manager, the person in charge. He's been running the company since his dad retired. So he has been in control or in charge of the company since his dad retired. And we have a third meaning, to operate or to cause to operate. Don't leave the car with the engine running. I hate it when people do this. I used to live in, it was actually a quiet street, but my neighbour often had friends and family round, and they'd arrive and they'd get out of the car, leaving the engine running, and they'd go inside, and they'd be in there for 20 minutes, and the engine is running the whole time, filling up my place with, fumes from the exhaust pipe. Ugh, used to drive me mad. Running this editing program drains my laptop battery. That is true. My laptop has a lot of things connected to it right now, and this program is quite intensive. One more example. Is the AC still running? AC is short for the air conditioner or air conditioning. So is it still operating? And you can see from these examples that we typically use this with machinery, some kind of machine, like a car or a computer or an air conditioner. Number 6, meet. To encounter somebody for the first time or to intentionally get together with somebody. We met 5 years ago and now we meet for coffee every week. It also means to satisfy or fulfill. The product meets international safety standards, and this is a common collocation, to meet standards. Her performance met our expectations perfectly. Another common collocation, to meet expectations. The course is designed to meet students' needs. So again, another very common collocation, to meet somebody's needs, to satisfy, to fulfill them. Number 7, play. To take part in a game or spend time doing a fun activity, in the case of children mostly. We played chess while the children played in the garden. But play also means, and we're going to have two new meanings, to perform the part of a particular character in a play or film. And you may notice here that we've also got play as a noun. So a play is a theatrical performance, like Romeo and Juliet, for example. Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Terminator. So that means that he interpreted, he acted this part, this character in the film. I played an angel in the school nativity play. So nativity is the birth of Jesus as celebrated by Christians at Christmas. And when I was a kid, it was traditional. Like every school basically did a nativity play at Christmas. And I was in the nativity play and I played an angel in the play. I never enjoyed being in school plays. I used to absolutely hate that, people were watching me. I was an incredibly shy child, which is why I still find it slightly bizarre that I've ended up doing these videos. Very odd. Play also means to deceive, trick, or manipulate somebody. Check the contract carefully. Don't let them play you. Don't let them trick or manipulate you. I think he's playing you. Something doesn't add up. Something doesn't feel right. I think he's deceiving you somehow. Number 8, cover. To put or spread something over the top of something or somebody. Cover the pasta before you put it in the fridge. The second meaning, to report in a media context. The journalist covered the election. So the journalist reported on the election. The local paper are covering the charity event in detail. So the local paper, the local newspaper are reporting on the charity event. And there's a third meaning here, to provide or to be enough money to pay for something. My parents covered my university tuition fees. So that's true. My parents paid for the cost of my university course. University courses are very expensive in England. When I did mine back in 2020, so 25 years ago, they were about £3,000 per year, and now I think it's about £10,000 per year. So students in England typically finish university, because most degrees are 3 years, with about £30,000 worth of debt. Oof. I barely earn enough money to cover my rent. So if you barely earn enough money to cover your rent, then you hardly earn enough money to pay for your rent, to pay for the whole of it. Will £100 cover the damage? Imagine you've damaged something and you're maybe in a hotel room, you've accidentally broken something, and you're asking them if £100 is enough money to pay for or cover the damage. Number 9, raise. So you probably all know to lift something to a higher position. Raise your hand if you have a question. But raise also means to take care of a person until they are fully grown. I was raised in England, and this verb is, generally speaking, used in the passive voice. So here, by my parents. I was raised by my parents. They fed me and clothed me and educated me and cared for me and loved me. So, and I just want to point out there's a common phrasal verb that we use that means exactly the same thing. I was brought up in England. Again, by my parents. This is passive. My parents brought me up. I was brought up by them. I was raised by them. Now, there's another meaning, and that is to cause something to exist, to draw attention to it. And I'm going to show you some common collocations. There's an issue I want to raise at the next meeting. So, to raise an issue, to focus attention on it, to make sure that people know that it exists. The campaign helped raise awareness of domestic abuse. So the campaign helped to create or cause this awareness to exist. I've raised my concerns with management. So I've called attention to them. I've made sure that management know that my concerns exist. His behaviour raises a lot of questions. So his behaviour makes a lot of questions exist. And we raised a lot of money for charity. So now we caused this money to exist for this specific purpose. So these collocations are very, very typical. Raise an issue, raise awareness, raise a concern, raise a question, and raise money. Number 10, press. To push firmly without causing an object to move away from you. Press play on the remote control. But press also means to try very hard to persuade or convince somebody to do something, or to urge somebody to do something. Environmental groups are pressing the government to take stronger action. So they're really trying to persuade the government to take action. He's being pressed to accept the job offer. So they are urging him. They are really trying to convince him. And they're pressing me for an answer. So this is very common to say, I'm being pressed for an answer. So they're trying very hard to convince me to respond, to give an answer. Well done, guys! Which of these verbs will be the most useful for you? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, if you learnt something, then please do like the video and why not subscribe for more? Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And just want to say a massive thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel. See you in the next video.